We're back again. First of all, happy Thanksgiving if you're in the US. And to all our viewers tuning in all around the world, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Today, we're going to be talking about Liverpool, Manchester City. We've seen these two teams at the top of the league, dominating the past 6 years. Man City have won it 5 out of the last six. Liverpool have been the only one to break that streak. And we have those two giants at the top of the league again at the moment. They're facing off tomorrow. This is the big clash this season. Biodun, how are you feeling about this picture? Are you excited?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think it's an exciting game. The truth of the matter is, for the last 6, 7 seasons now, this has been a great fixture that everyone has always been looking forward to. Except last season when Arsenal, came out to be a contender, and that kind of took the stage away from Liverpool. And unfortunately for Liverpool, that was the season that it's not been good. It was one of their terrible seasons since Klopp joined.
Yeah.
Um, so now they are back. I mean, I'm not saying they are back like that, but it's a better start to the season for Liverpool. They're back in contention for the league, and I won't be surprised, if they win the league because they're doing well. They're actually second on the table,
Hmm.
behind City. So this is the weekend of first and second. Definitely, everyone will be excited to see this game and see how the rivalry is gonna continue between Pep and Klopp,
Hmm. Hmm.
Salah, and Rodri, who is probably sorry, De Bruyne, who is probably out, or maybe Salah versus Haaland, right? This time
Yeah.
around. So there are lots of players to look out for. Luis Diaz, Salah, Nunes, Jota, all these guys are there.
Yeah.
We also have guys from way back fixtures like Van Dijk that have witnessed, almost all the encounters between Pep and Guardiola. So this is definitely going to be an interesting and exciting game. For me as an Arsenal fan, it's also exciting and interesting because we're sitting at their third, same point level with Liverpool, but wishing and hoping that maybe it's going to be a draw, or maybe Liverpool kind of sneaking a win. Try to kind of bring the City down. Uh, you know, uh, so definitely, I will be looking forward to that. I will be watching and be hoping that this result doesn't go the way of our City.
Yeah, you brought up, a couple of interesting things there where you talked about the quality on the pitch. We're talking about the best players in the Premier League. You're talking about Salah, you're talking about, we know what Guardiola did at the World Cup. We're talking about Ruben Diaz. We see Edison, marshalling that back line. They have the meanest defense typically every season. And I think we were all shocked, that they even considered 4 goals in the last game because I think up until that point they'd only considered 8 in 11 games so far.
Yeah,
We're talking about Haaland, who scored 50 goals, in one season. Van Dijk, like you said, has seen it all, done it all. Allison, these are players who won, the Premiership and the Champions League with the old team, and as you mentioned, the other thing you mentioned that I caught on there was you talked about how they had a poor performance, by their standards, because they still qualified for Europe, but by their
very
standards, they had a poor performance last season. And I think it was this transitional period where Klopp is, trying to rebuild. If we look at their current lineups, we look at the line of Nunes, who they've brought in to replace Firmino. We talk about Luis Diaz and Jota trying to fill Mane's boots. So Bozlai has been a revelation. They lost Henderson. Uh, they lost Fabinho. Big players, big characters that were part of,
definitely.
those top seasons, where they dominated at the top end of the league. And, we're starting to see some of that coming back. Like you mentioned, they had a good resurgence toward the end of last season, and they're
Yeah.
they're at the top of the season, top of the league this current season.
Yes.
So looking at it, let's just dive straight right into it. Man City is at home. How do you see this going? I know as Arsenal fans, we're hoping they both drop points and they end with a draw. Where do you
Yes.
see these teams? How do you see the matchups going? We're going to see Salah. I
Oh
think there's been some
man.
question in the left back area. Vardiol and Ake. There've been problems there. If there's any weak points, you know, to even call it that in this City team. It's been that left back spot because they don't have a especially left back. You know, they're seeming to fit in centre backs in that position. Where do you see the matchup? So Salah, you know, going up against whoever is at their left back. You know, we have Nunes and Diaz up front, and Haaland is going to come up against Van Dijk. Rodri, of course, against McAllister. So both lie. Probably Bernardo Silva in that mix. I mean, we're talking about players who would almost walk into any team in the league. Where do you see these matchups? Let's talk about some of those matchups, you know, that you're particularly looking to focus on.
Yes, that is a great question, and I was just trying to refresh my result here as we were talking. So Liverpool has only lost one game this season in the EPL, and that was against Tottenham, which we all believe that they were robbed. That was a very unfortunate situation of EPL refereeing, right? That's another conversation.
Don't let the FA charge you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to stay clear of any any issue. I don't want to be fined. I don't have the money like Ateta, so I'm not going to be able to pay. I don't want them to shut down this YouTube channel because our viewers are liking it and we're getting more subscribers every day. So please continue to subscribe and like and share as well. So that one aside, City on the other side has lost to Wolves and has lost to Arsenal this season. And I believe that's 2 losses in the EPL so far for City. But somehow they'll stay on top of the league because Liverpool has had more draws. But Liverpool has only lost 1 game. If that had not been that unfortunate situation, Liverpool probably will be coming to this fixture unbeatable. On results, forget the points gathered. In terms of form, we all know that City actually had the best starts in the season than previous years. This season, this is way better than their typical stats, right?
Yeah.
But City are top with more points.
Mm-hmm.
But lately, we noticed that the performance that we're seeing from City is not what we would expect of City. So in terms of performance, I'll put this fixture as a draw. In terms of City playing at home, and with the good news that Guardiola shared, that some players are back to fitness and they are possibly going to be available for the game, I think City might go out with a win because they play differently against Liverpool. Remember last season, the second leg against Liverpool, Arsenal fans were hoping that this was going to be we couldn't do it ourselves, so we're hoping that Liverpool would help us. So scored first. It was Liverpool 1-0. De Bruyne was in that game. De Bruyne changed the game. He ended up being a City with 3-1, right? Yeah. This time around, there's no De Bruyne, right? We saw what Chelsea do. I am sure Klopp has looked into how Wolves played City, Arsenal played City, and now Chelsea played City. City will probably be the best takeaway because it just shows that you cannot continue to sit back. Liverpool has never sat back against City.
Yeah,
they play fire for fire. And let's just do a quick recap of key players that are going to be missing in this fixture. Yeah. So there's no Mane. There's no Sadio Mane in this game, which we all missed, right? There's not going to be Thiago Alcantara. There's not going to be
Robertson. De Bruyne, who you've mentioned. Yeah, Robertson is out as well. Let's bring up, possible lineups and look at players.
Because our folks, viewers need to remember key players that are going to be missing in this notable fixture. So Tsimikas is going to be coming in for Robertson in this fixture. Van Dijk he knows this fixture very well, right? He's played a lot of it. I don't know if you're bringing it back, but I think it's just
yeah.
So Van Dijk is there. Possibly it's going to be Joe Matip, because Konate is injured. I think Joe Gomez is also injured. We have McAllister that has never played against City as a Liverpool player. This is going to be his first game. As a matter of fact, are we sure that McAllister is going to be playing? Let me just double check because I think he's suspended. And I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's back available.
McAllister is suspended, but I think he's going to be playing this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so he missed the last game.
So he already served his suspension, so he's available, right?
Okay. Yep. Ouattara started the last game, so he's back this week.
Players like Wanalom those days and Thiago Alcantara, those players are no more. available, so they won't be doing this, right? And Anderson, who used to be the captain, is not there. So we're missing Anderson, we're missing Robertson, we're missing Sadio Mane. Those players are gone. We're missing Firmino. So those players are gone. Now we have new faces in Dominic Soboslai. Against City is a different ball game. Would they be able to raise their game to this level? I think we've seen a very good performance from Soboslai so far. I think he can step into this game. McAllister, he also played against Brazil over the week. I think he had a good game. So I think he's going to be able to slot in into this fixture. I am not sure if it's going to be David Nunes up front, but I'm pretty sure that Salah is going to start on the left, and that's going to be a problem for what can come into in terms of the City analysis. So we're going to have Salah on the right, cutting in as he can. We're going to have Diaz, who actually terrorized Brazil when they played Brazil in the World Cup qualifiers and scored that 2 goals. Up front, I think it might be Jota to start, but if it's not Jota, then maybe Darwin Nunes. Or maybe it's going to be what's his name? Gakpo, right?
Gakpo.
So, okay, you have Gakpo in the midfield already. Okay. So that's fine. So I think this might be a possible lineup, except that I'm not sure if Nunes will start or maybe it's going to be Jota. So I'll leave that one for Klopp to decide. Now the City side, on the City side, we're missing players like my very good friend Mahrez, that departed City, right? He's not going to be playing this
last season.
So Mahrez is gone. We're going to be missing De Bruyne. So that brings a big challenge for City in this game, because I still think De Bruyne changed that game against Liverpool their last leg last season. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's missing. I don't know how much Bernardo Silva can do to drive this game. I expected him to do a lot better against Chelsea. He didn't do that. So this is another test for him to see how much he can carry the team in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne. So that might be a challenge. Rodri's going to be there. I hope Rodri will not pray for a game like Chelsea again, because that was the game that he was swamped. Players all around him. Sterling was all over him. Palmer were just cutting into the midfield. So it was too much for him to handle. This is against Liverpool. He's going to expect similar game. Liverpool is going to play a hard press game and they're going to counter. So on the break, Vardiol has not had good games so far. Netanyahu is not fit. So Pep will be forced to play Vardiol again. The way I'm saying things, I don't think Netanyahu is fit to start. So Walker is there. Walker will have to do a lot of work against Luis Diaz. I think that's a very good matchup. Walker Diaz.
Yeah.
I mean, Walker is probably the only defender that can play against players like Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz is so strong and he's so physical and he's so quick. Yeah. So again, man, this is just going to be a very, very interesting game. Foden on that side, I don't know. Foden might have to switch in and come into the midfield. I don't know if he can operate through that wings, but we'll see what happens. But yeah,
so
what you have
on the wing if Foden switches inside, because he's been starting out on the right most of the season.
So last I had Akitayo on me talking about the review of Chelsea City. Akitayo on me said something that I actually agree with, that makes sense. He talked about Stones was fit. That Stones would have come into that midfield where you have Bernardo Silva, and Bernardo Silva would have to get to the right, and Foden would have need to start from the bench, or maybe shift Foden to the left, right?
I agree. Yeah.
But that's something he said, that Stones would have been able to provide more defensive cover to operate.
Yeah.
So, but Stones is out. He's not fit. So that's a challenge that and Kovacic is out. So Kovacic is also not fit. That's another player that could be a bit. So I don't know how he's going to do it. He has a player in Calvin Phillips who he doesn't trust. He doesn't trust Calvin Phillips. He doesn't play him because honestly, Calvin Phillips could have just stepped in and played more defensive to give Rodri some cover and some, leeway to operate. So, but again, that's left to Pep. I'll let you share your own thoughts. But that's how I see it.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see Calvin Phillips start, just taking off from where you left off. Something that strikes me about this fixture, and you talked about it a little bit, talking about wingers drifting infield, is where I see City having problems in this game. We saw that as a feature, when they faced Chelsea last weekend, right, where Cole Palmer and Sterling, instead of taking on the fullbacks, actually drifted infield a lot, and that cost City all kinds of problems. And it just so happens that Liverpool have that same kind of setup. Luis Diaz is stronger on his right, Mohamed Salah is stronger on his left, and we know those two players are going to come infield. They're going to look for shots. They're going to look for through balls, and so look for Luis Diaz driving infield and looking for crosses to the back post behind Guardiola or whoever plays at that left back. Look for Salah cutting in, from the right and looking for shots or through balls into Darwin Núñez. We've seen very good connection and interchanging between Darwin Núñez and Salah. They seem to be finding an understanding. That was something that Klopp talked about in his pre-match press conference earlier today. So where it starts to check in, you already talked about the midfield. McAllister and Szoboszlai, they're new to this fixture. So, there might be some concern there, but I think we've seen enough from both of them. McAllister won the World Cup, so we know he's capable of playing up there with the best. Szoboszlai has hit the league. He has hit the ground running in this league. So there are not too many concerns. I had Cody Gakpo playing as the third because while Gravenberch seems to have, nailed down the starting spot as the third in that midfield, I think this fixture might be a bit above his level. And I think part of that was because Cody Gakpo was unfit and is just starting to return to fitness. And I think this might be a game where he comes in. Now, on the City side, Robertson is out, like you mentioned. Foden is tricky. And I can see Tsimikas getting at least a yellow card against whoever plays, whether it be Foden or Bernardo Silva on that right wing. And so it's interesting when you look at both these teams going into tomorrow. I think the weaknesses and the entry points are in those left back positions for both teams because City doesn't have a natural first choice dependable left back. And Liverpool's first choice is out injured at the moment.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to out through one thing. Actually, I agree with you that left back for both teams might be a good place to operate, and they might seem vulnerable. But I would actually take my chances and focus on the right back of Liverpool, and that's because of Alexander-Arnold. I would actually take my chances and worry Alexander-Arnold a lot. He likes to play in the midfield. The coach is getting to agree to that and let him invert. But he loses the ball as well when he plays back. When he plays forward is good, but his playing back is a suspect. So if Doku can challenge that right side, Salah helps support, but Salah is also attack-minded. So meaning, what can folks like Vardy do to watch out for Salah, then Doku to drive that defense so that he can get one-on-one with Alexander-Arnold. If Doku can get one-on-one with Alexander-Arnold, I think that's an opportunity right there. I think he's definitely going to beat Arnold one-on-one. I think so. And Alexander-Arnold, Trent lately gets emotional, he gets angry, then he makes stupid fouls. He gets angry, he pushes you, he fouls you, and that's a yellow card or red card right there. So if Pep actually wants to set a trap for them, he could focus on both. He could just focus on the right side of Liverpool. And that way, Joe Matip is going to have to do a lot of help. And when he does that, Van Dijk doesn't like losing his counterpart. So Van Dijk actually complains or moves towards Matip to cover the space between himself and Matip. And that creates a gap for Haaland to slide in and make some chances. If I were Pep, I will let Foden stay where he is. If you get the ball, great. But I will keep targeting that right back of Liverpool, especially when you have Cody Gakpo, which is good on the ball, but I'm not sure if it's that physical to combat the strength of Alvarez, pushing him back.
So that'll be interesting. I think Gakpo is really good at holding the ball and then driving through the middle. I don't know now that you mention it, I don't think that's a tactic that will work against City because their middle is typically very strong. The areas of weakness, like I mentioned earlier, would be from the wings, then driving into the middle. So it'll be interesting, but you do make a very good point. Liverpool do have a weakness in that right back position. And what we've seen is they seem to have found a balance where Matip covers when Alexander-Arnold is cut out of position. And then Arnold then just slides straight into like the center back position to cover until they can recover their shape. One more thing that I think I want to throw out. I think we're going to see goals in this fixture. I'm personally leaning towards a 2-2 draw. Where I see this. But I'll mention something I've talked about it a lot on, when we've talked about Liverpool's games. Liverpool is away. Liverpool have struggled when they've played away this season. You talked about the Tottenham loss. I talked about it before the game. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, Liverpool seem to struggle when they go away. And I think that's the only reason why they might actually not win this game. I think something is just a bit off there. I'm looking forward to them changing that impression that I seem to have of them this season. But I'm a bit wary of that fact that they're away from Anfield and they're coming up against City. There will be goals, they will score, they will catch City out on the break, but will it be enough? I'll give you a final thoughts.
Yes, I'm actually going to change my prediction. I think it's going to be a draw, but if we're going to see a win in this game, I think I'm going to give the win to Liverpool.
Okay.
I'm going to give the win. If there's going to be a win in this game, because I just thought about it again, like I said, and I started by calling out the key players that have always been regular in these fixtures that are now missing. We talk about De Bruyne, we talk about Mahrez, we talk about Sadio Mane, we talk about Firmino, we talk about Robertson, Henderson. Those players are missing. I think Klopp rebuilding. I have some trust more in the strength of that players than what I've seen lately in City. And that's because City has not hit that form that scares people. So if you're going to fight and beat City, I think this is your chance right now. De Bruyne is going to be back in December. And Kovacic might return, which I don't think it's a good replacement for Ike and what's his name? The guy that went to Barcelona. Gundogan. So Gundogan is missing for City. You're not only missing De Bruyne, you're missing Gundogan and you're missing De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva has not fully replaced each one of these people. Kovacic is never going to replace any one of them. So when I look at the strength of the team, based on their previous engagements, I think Liverpool might have a chance here. And I look at the strength of the wingers, and I see better performance coming out of Liverpool than City in the sense of Luis Diaz and Salah versus Doku and Foden. They are young, and I don't think they're as effective as Salah and Luis Diaz on those sides. Now, Grealish is more mature, but Grealish he's not fit enough. We've seen Grealish, that fitness is not there. He hasn't hit that form. And he has sold Mahrez. So that's why I'm giving it to Liverpool based on the quality of the wingers that can score or create the chances. Haaland is probably going to be the main guy there. Is he going to get the balls? I don't know. He's going to be playing against intelligent defenders. So this is like playing against Arsenal, the one you had Saliba and Gabriel teaming up. You're going to play against Van Dijk. So far with the stats, Van Dijk is on the top right now as the best defender in this league based on stats. So Haaland will need support to fully operate in this game. And Alvarez would have to support him a lot and to help him create space for himself. That's why I think it's going to be a draw or it's going to be a Liverpool win.
Okay. Nice. All right. So you're leaning towards Liverpool. I'm leaning more towards City, but deep down, we're both hoping for a City draw. Awesome. Deep
down a draw. We said just like Chelsea City, man.
Good point. Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to this fixture. Hope everyone is tuning in. Biodun, as always, a pleasure hosting this with you. Catch you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.